Hey guys, it's Saru, and if you're a fan of Dragon Nest, then this video is probably going to be of interest to you because I found out that the original developers of Dragon Nest is creating a brand new MMO, at least that's what it seems like, called Project D. So we're going to check it out and we're going to see exactly what is available for this game because not a lot of information is shown right now or known about the game right now because it's still a little early in development, but we're going to talk about it, we're going to look into it, and we're going to see what it's all about. So let's get right into it. Now before I begin, I went and researched a little bit about this game, about the studio, a little bit about their history, and about Dragon Nest altogether, which I'll be looking into Dragon Nest later this month in order to get a little feel about what to expect for this game because I have not played Dragon Nest in so many years that I honestly can't remember. So this video is basically going to be more informational, me going into a deep dive and kind of looking into the hirings, the IR reports, and all that stuff that is available for a studio or publicly available for a game, and then kind of letting you guys know what to expect. I feel like these kinds of videos have been more helpful for you guys, and it's something that I actually like to do on my own time, so it kind of helps me out rather than condensing all the information into something that's not really meaningful. So as I said at the beginning of the video, this game, Project D, is meant to be a spiritual successor to Dragon Nest. Now the game is apparently going to be called Dragon Sword, at least this is noted by the very end of the video that they released about 10 days ago. By the time this video is out, it should be 11 days ago, and it was created again by the creators that made Dragon Nest, who were previously called Identity. As I looked into Identity, because honestly I don't really remember this, a company that I'm not going to name bought the development studio of Identity, and the team that was working there at Identity basically felt that this wasn't really what they wanted. A lot of things didn't really mesh well, so they left the company to create their own business, and that business or studio would then be called Hound 13. Funny enough, this is a very similar story to what happened with Bluehole, and then most of us went into the umbrella of Nimble Neuron, and then things didn't work out, so we all basically just quit and created our own studio. So yeah, I totally resonate with this. So yeah, this new studio is called Hound 13. Now the studio has created a previous title called 100 Soul. It's an Unreal Engine 5 ARPG. It's not necessarily open world, it's more instance based from what I've noticed, and it's a mobile game. A lot of the times this is actually pretty normal because mobile games are, I wouldn't say very easy to make, but they're easier to make rather than MMORPGs or RPGs in general to kind of target every platform. So it's easy to create some mobile titles or apps first in order to sell them and try to get investors and stuff like that in order to get the revenue to get started on the projects that you kind of really want to get into. So 100 Soul kind of seems like that for me. From my understanding, they used all of their experience in Dragon Nest and they kind of created 100 Soul a little bit with Unreal Engine 5, as I said. And with 100 Soul you can kind of see a lot of the Dragon Nest combat systems that were pretty popular with Dragon Nest actually, so you can kind of see that in the videos in the background here. But in addition to this, they're also working on a game called Project M, and this is a PC and console game, and what you're seeing right now is actually a prototype right now. So it seems to be more of a single player RPG with a cinematic like narrative, much like God of War, Dark Souls, things like that, right? It doesn't necessarily seem to have any multiplayer, at least for the informational stuff that they put out for this prototype. And to be clear, I know in English it sounds a little weird, prototype, because that usually means like something to kind of demonstrate, but it's not necessarily something that may happen. In Korea especially, we use the term prototype quite a bit, although I don't know why I said we, I don't actually live in Korea, but even most recently with our studio for our game for Project B, we have our own prototype that we've kind of produced and we've shown off to certain investors and stuff like that. So this is a pretty common occurrence, especially in Korea. But all this to say basically that they have some history already. They've created Dragon Nest. They're trying to kind of grab everybody that worked on Dragon Nest and worked with them previously to hire them again in this brand new studio from what I've been noticing on their job postings and stuff like that. But anyways, moving on and focusing on Project D, currently there are no confirmations as to whether or not this will become an MMORPG, but all signs point to a game similar to that of Genshin Impact or Tower of Fantasy in the sense of being an action RPG that has online servers where players can go in and meet up with others. And I haven't looked into whether anybody is actually calling this an MMORPG or not, and I also have not looked into whether anyone's actually covered this game already. There probably has been some coverage about this, I'm a little bit late, but for the clarification part of things, this is not going to be an MMORPG. Now this comes from seeing job positions that are currently available, some of which include, for example, server systems positions, and also that they're looking for an economics professional, which is fairly common common in the MMORPG realm actually, and these people basically set out rewards for character growth, create in-game currencies like gold, the value of each item and why they affect certain things, thus creating kind of the market's economy and so on from scratch. So this usually also includes creating rewards for systems like quests, achievements, dungeon clears, raids, and so on and so forth. Also, fun fact, if a lot of people didn't know this, sometimes MMORPGs will also hire psychologists to kind of see how players may or may not react to certain situations, to kind of keep them playing the game or to get them more and more invested into a game. So that's a little fun fact for you guys in case you don't know that. And again, there is no confirmation on the genre right now. They are looking to add puzzle elements and dungeons to the game for players to work together. Again, this is all coming from job postings that I saw on their website, and so all the information usually in the job postings will kind of give you an idea of how a game may turn out to be, right? So based on this information, they're looking for dungeons to be added to the game for players to work together. They're looking for puzzle elements to kind of figure things out in order to, you know, get some rewards and stuff like that, as well as some other technical things such as the game will be made in Unreal Engine 4 with an Unreal Engine 5 possibility in the future. So they're looking for people that already have some experience in Unreal Engine 5. So if the switch ever comes over or whatever, or they slowly transition in and out of it, it'll be easier to do so. For Project D or Dragon Sword, this is particularly going to be focused on PC and mobile. Again, this is based on the job hirings. This could be totally different by the time the game actually launches, but the focus is PC and mobile, and will provide cross-platform so that players can play on PC and mobile together. As for the content itself, even though there are no exact details of how that's going to work, there are some reiterations on being heavy on action combat, as well as progression and endgame content. So similar to that of Dragonist, basically, they really want this to be the spiritual successor, as I said before. They want the game to be fluid and expressive, similar to that of anime, I guess, and inspired by anime figures actually, and be completely open world. So all in all, this prototype looks pretty neat. I think Project D, or I guess again by its official name, Dragon Sword, will be a contender in the MMOARPG realm, if that's a thing, or is it just a RPG? Well, either way, regardless of whatever the genre may be, it's cool to see that the original developers of Dragon Nest went out and said, hey, you know what, it's time to get back and create something that we're really passionate about. The job postings indicate that we're quite a while away from seeing this title anyways, probably a few years to be perfectly honest. And even though some people may say, hey, but look at the trailer, it looks like, you know, they're kind of halfway done, I really don't think we're anywhere close for release. And if anybody remembers Anthem at E3, that little trailer, that little prototype trailer that was shown, that was just created for E3, and the game was never actually created at that point. So you never really know where we are in the progress in the game unless you actually ask directly. But yeah, those are my thoughts. I think we're still quite a while away from seeing this title, and I'll keep an eye on it anyways. But what do you guys think about this game? If it comes out, are you willing to try it? Are you wanting to try it out? Do you think there might be some gacha systems in this game? I really hope not. I'm really tired of gacha systems and loot boxes. Much like here in Canada, Epic Games actually had to do a settlement and gave everybody that ever bought a loot box or crates or keys for loot boxes, or from Rocket League with RNG boxes, anybody that did it from a certain period of time can do a claim up here in Canada. I think it's like $25 though. But all to say, this whole gambling system is just so tiring for me. But anyways, the combat looks sick. It's cool to see that just like in 100 Souls, they pretty much have kept to the original combat style that they created since Dragon Nest. And sometimes developers forget the key importance of certain elements that made a game really, really good. One of the things that I always hear about Dragon Nest is like, oh, the combat system's so crazy, you can do this, you can do that. And it's funny because unlike Crafton, which for some reason cracked the code on the combat system for Terra and then came out with whatever the heck was in Elion, it's kind of weird. So it's nice to see that they said, you know, hey, let's use what we had and then try to make it more intricate and better. But yeah, if you weren't aware about this upcoming possible MMO, then, well, now you know. But anyways, let me know in the comments below and we'll talk about it. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe and click that adorable f***ing bell to know when I upload a brand new video. And don't forget to come join my Discord if you want to chat and hang out. Much love, and as always, till next time, friends.